Hi y'all, I'm Melissa and welcome to Oh My Word, Melly. I know last week I just went AWOL a bit because I had a long weekend, a long week as well. I had so many things to be done or to get done, so I missed last week. I kind of wanted to film this video last week, but I just wasn't at home and did not have the time whatsoever to film this, so extremely sorry. Anywho, I am back here today with my September reading wrap up. So I read 6 books in September which I really enjoyed as well, and I am so excited to talk to you all about these books and to recommend these books or to tell you all my thoughts as well. So without further ado, let's see what are the 6 books that I read in the month of September. So the first book I read in the month of September is Happy People Are Annoying by Josh Peck. Let me see if you see this. So if you all have watched Drake and Josh when you all were growing up just like me, Josh Peck is not going to be someone new to you. And if you all still haven't watched Drake and Josh, which was like eons ago, like I was just growing up with it, and like they used to show it on Nickelodeon and all that, and that's how I ended up watching Drake and Josh, right? So if you all still haven't watched it, I recommend you all going through the hassle of finding this old TV series from our early ages and watching it, because it was a fun comedy as well, and Josh Peck was one of the main characters. So this book is somewhat of a memoir of Josh Peck about how he got into acting, how he, being plus size, like he was massive according to how the book is explained, these are not my words, and like how he was struggling to get an act, where he was struggling with poverty, and he thought, you know, studies is not going to help, and like some kind of acting or arts is what's going to help. So he was trying to get out of poverty by acting, and somehow he landed the gig of Drake and Josh, which I just absolutely loved reading this. But after that, what happens? Like after Drake and Josh, how he struggled to find other acting gigs when he realized that he may not be a good actor. Like that discovery about his drug abuse, like I was just shocked that every memoir of an actor I read, so I have read Beyond the One by Tom Felton, right? Like he also had a drug issue. Like, does every actor have a drug issue? Like that's where my head was as well. And then like how he had to find a way of means, like if he was not getting any acting jobs, anything whatsoever, like how was he going to survive? He was not ready to go back to poverty. He had to look after his mother. So all that, right? So then he started getting onto social media, to Vine. Those days there was this platform called Vine where you could make videos, and he started making like fun videos whatsoever, and then that was shut down, and then how he had to learn to get onto YouTube. You know, it was such a roller coaster ride. But I can't remember how much of a rating I gave this. I think it's 4 stars. I'll leave it somewhere here. But for me, it was just purely him struggling throughout the book, right? Just throughout the book, he was struggling to find jobs. He went on to auditions and auditions and auditions, and like he was in this state where he thought that acting was the only way he could survive. And I was just thinking that it was so repetitive, it was so dragged, but at the end of the day, it's his life story. But I love his wife, and how strong she was, how loving she was, that she stuck by him. That was so inspirational. I really liked it. I won't say I loved this book as much as I did Tom Felton's memoir, but it's up to you to read it. I really wanted to read this because I was a huge fan of Josh Peck when I was growing up, and I still do like, I'm still a fan, not was. But yes, I wanted to read this memoir, and I have seen a few of my friends on Instagram like Imogen and them reading, so I wanted to read this as well. I did enjoy it. It was a very fast-paced book and a lot of raw details is what I have to say. Like, it's definitely a non-fiction book, and for someone who is not reading non-fiction, it means a lot that I'm reading one. So do check out Happy People Are Annoying by Josh Peck. So the next book I read in September was a book recommended to me by my favorite author Emmanuel Snow, and a book that she enjoyed as well. And she had to recommend me a book because of my uppercase YA reading challenge. If y'all are wondering what is this uppercase YA reading challenge, I talk about it in two videos. One is here, which is the most recent one, where I talk to y'all about the update of it as well. And then in that video, y'all can find out a video link to the original, or like the first video of me explaining what this reading challenge is, and that book is none other than Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. Guys, this is the second book of the Nashville Neighborhood series, and most of my friends have read the first book, that is The Doctor, which I still haven't, but gosh, I can't believe that I still haven't. I enjoyed this so much. I just devoured it. Like, this was that book that I couldn't stop reading, and I may have sneaked a bit of reading during work at office. If someone asks me, I'm going to deny it right out. Anyway, guys, this book was smarty. That's how I'm going to start. It was smarty to the core, and like, it has a reverse age gap, and best friend's son, and a divorcee lady after marriage of I think 20 years, I guess, who finds out her husband is cheating, and her husband identifies himself differently, and how she's getting over that, and then she finds a spark with her pool boy, who is also her best friend's son, and how it just goes on from there. The steam, guys, the chemistry, I just absolutely love this. And I also love this book because it's revolving around, the music industry of Nashville, and like, where she is a like agent, and then she also finds out her pool boy has an absolutely amazing voice, and she is like being his manager, and where they can't, like, she's like, we should be strictly professional, but they just can't seem to how do I say it, keep it under wraps, is what I have to say. That the steam, the tension, the sexual tension was just so good that I can't wait to read the other books. I was told that there is something called The Doctor, The Good Girl, The Frat Boy, and so many other things that I can't remember. That, wow, this was spicy, it was smutty, I just love a good age gap romance, and to have a reverse age gap romance with all the underlying circumstances that they had to navigate through, I absolutely loved it. Like, they had a massive age gap, right? So how that was perceived, how they stumbled through everything and like stuck together, and like, he falls first, right? And like, he falls first, but she falls harder kind of vibe. And guys, if y'all are like me and love a good spicy romance, check out The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. I just devoured it, and I am so grateful that Emmanuel Snow recommended this book to me, and I read it because of a challenge. Else I wouldn't even know that I want to pick it up, and now I just can't get enough of it. I'm just trying to find time to read the rest of the books as well. So check out The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. So the next book I read is A Faux Love Story by Loan Lee. And guys, this is a foodie romance. It was a cutesy romance read. I absolutely loved it. It had like Romeo Juliet vibes of star-crossed lovers and rival families, you know, that are having a feud, like a feud, and like these children are not allowed to associate these families, but the two children of the families get close together because of a school assessment that they have to work closely, and they are wondering why are these families angry. And they are also like business rivals. Both these families have a restaurant where they are always competing with each other. Like if someone gives a discount, they try to give a better discount. If they have some kind of promotion, the other one tries to do a better one, like, you know. And then these two kids, I can't remember their names, let me quickly see if I can. So it's like Bao and Lin, if I'm not mistaken. Let me soon find this. Yeah, Bao and Lin. Gosh, like dual POV, so you get the best of both worlds. And like it also shows how, so like these are Vietnamese MCs, so it's also a BIPOC book, and I'm pretty sure I picked this up because of another reading challenge that I have, or as a part of the uppercase YA reading challenge. And rivals to lovers, you know, frenemies to lovers, they become friends and then they fall for each other, as well as they are like in high school trying to figure out what's next in their life. So like what are they going to do for college, they're discovering themselves. And like Lynn is a painter and she sees the world so differently to than her conservative parents, and same with Bao, who like they are in this very culturally rich society of Vietnamese Asians in part of America, and like, you know, everyone has to meddle in it and everyone has to have a say, and like they are trying to figure themselves out amidst of all this chaos, as well as trying to love each other when they are it's like forbidden love, they are just not allowed to, but somehow they find a way, they find why the two families are so angry and they try to resolve it. And like absolutely adored it. I loved how they fell for each other, how they started like getting to know each other. It was so cute. And like someone like me who likes BIPOC books as well as foodie romance and, you know, cute romancy reads, this was so good. And I definitely like recommend you all to check this out. Like it's such a breath of fresh air, and like now I have so many books with Asian representation that I have read this year that I am like addicted to reading more books with Asian representation, that I just can't get enough of it. And Learn Lee's writing was absolutely adorable, that you just get hooked and you want to know how much more, what's going to happen next. You know, you are caught up in that flowery, glittery, rainbowy kind of world, and this is yes a young adult kind of thing, so it's so cute to see them fall in love and all that. And guys, the food made me so want to eat like what do you say, bao buns and all these dumplings and pho and ramen and all. I know ramen may not be a part of Vietnamese food, I have no idea, but just I was craving it, and like it was so vividly explained that I was like picturing it and like, you know, wanting to eat it. Gosh, I love foodie romance books. Such a cute read, guys. I'm so happy I picked this up. Like so enjoyed reading this. So this is a faux love story. Again, guys, I can't remember the ratings I gave these books. I'm just going to leave it on screen so that y'all can see my ratings. The next book I read has been on my TBR for so long, and book 2 was also released I think in August, and I had to read this, and this also again was a part of my reading challenge, and that is Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. Oh my word, guys, I absolutely loved this. I truly did. I just couldn't get enough of the banter. This is more like an adult romance, and it's also a retelling of Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. And like the series itself is called If Shakespeare Was an Auntie. You know, this follows the Desi culture with meddling aunties or like overprotective aunties, huge families. Like it was amazing, like amazing, amazing, amazing. I think I gave this a 4 star. Again, can't remember, but like it was in dual POV, and like Karina Man, which is the female main character, she's like a true believer of love and soulmates and true love and like marrying for love. And then this Dr. Dill, but his name was Prem Sharma, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, it was Prem anyway. He is like the anti-love person, does not believe in love, has gone through a heartbreak that shows him that it's bad or like love is not worth it, and like they have this horrible one night stand that led into like an enemies to lovers kind of thing. And like he does this show called the Dr. Dill show, where he talks about how love affects your heart and how bad love is. And then Karina goes and like, you know, uh, like how do gate crashes one of his recordings and be like, bro, we had this one last like one night stand kind of thing, and like you were all flirty and all that, and now you preach something else. And you know, a big spectacle like live broadcasted that led into this thing where he had to build his reputation, because he lost a lot of things by that incident, and where they start fake dating. You know, like for two who ended up fighting, I can't even believe how they got there. But like it was so cute to see how they ended up fake dating after being these mortal enemies kind of thing. And then the banter, the chemistry, the spice, the tension that keeps building on, and like how they end up falling in love or admitting finally that they are in love was so fun. How the aunties meddle and try to set them up as well, like the fake dating just doesn't start out of nowhere. The aunties have a say in it, and like they keep like meddling, interfering, and like somehow pushing them to be together. And like obviously they see South Asian representation, and it was steamy. There were steamy scenes. I loved the scene in the garage. That's all I can say. I can't tell you all what the scene is. Read it to find out. And my goodness, like the banter, and like the female, like the female main character, she was strong. Like you can say she was a badass female heroine. And like they were like hate to love, but I anyway love you. Then the Desi culture, I absolutely loved how the Desi culture plays into it, and like so much of chemistry. I just devoured this. I want more of this series. I really can't get enough of it. So check out Dating Dr. Dill, and the next book is book 2 of this, obviously. So let's hear my thoughts on that. So the next book, like I said, is Taste Like Shakkar by Nisha Sharma, the second book of the Dating Dr. Dill series, or the If Shakespeare Was an Auntie series. And this book follows the planning and the wedding of uh, Karina and Prem from Dating Dr. Dill, and where her best friends are, or her best friend, can't remember her name again. Anyway, Karina's best friend, who is a wedding planner, is now planning the wedding as a wedding gift. And also one of Prem's best friend, who is a chef, well, is one of the best men, and they're like trying to plan this entire wedding. But it starts again with a enemies to lovers, like mortal enemies, guys, because like she's a plus size heroine, and like she tries to talk Prem's friend into another wedding's catering thing, because he's a chef and he has his own like a desi modern desi kind of restaurant. But he is like anti catering, so he's like, no, I'm not catering it, which ends up, okay, her name is Bobby. And when I remember the guy's name, I'll let y'all know. Where Bobby lost a big client because he refused to cater that wedding, and that led into this where they this rival, like enemies, kind of hatred. They just couldn't be kept in one room. Like the banter was so much. But what everyone else realized was they were perfect for each other, a plus size MC, and like whatever that guy said ended up being understood, or he said it wrong, that was offensive to Bobby as well. So obviously the hatred was just growing. But they end up having to plan Karina's and Prem's wedding, which was a fun scene. I just loved it, and they had to work together. So like forced proximity, and like this is also a retelling of Shakespeare. This is actually the retelling of Much Ado About Nothing by Shakespeare, and then Dating Dr. Dill was a retelling of Taming the Shrew by Shakespeare, which I have not read and I won't be reading because I'm not a fan of Shakespeare. Anyway, this too was in dual POV, and to spice things up, someone was trying to sabotage Karina's and Prem's wedding. And these two had to do all these detective things while planning the wedding, which was just so much, as well as falling for each other. And guys, when they realized that they fell for each other, the spice, gosh, that is bondage. Like, oh my word, I did not see that coming. The spice in this book was way better than book one. Book one just felt compared to nothing. Like, this was nothing, and I loved it. I loved the way they discover each other through it and all that. I just loved it. And also, guys, the I love this because it's also foodie romance, like the recipes, the food, the desi infusion food that they were coming up for the wedding, and the stuff this chef was making for Bobby. I was like, oh, I just loved it so much. And uh, like this entire wedding, Indian wedding, the trying to uh, organize it and solve the mystery, discover each other, the ups and downs, because Prem's best friend, or the male main character, had his family drama that he had to sort out, as well as he had to pick. It's either the family or Bobby. Like, what was he going to pick? Decisions. I absolutely love this. This was way better than book one. I loved book one, but this was just better. And I'm pretty sure there is a third book where it's going to follow another friend of Prem, as well as the other friend of Karina's as well. So I think this is a trilogy. I absolutely love it. And in dual POV, you get best of both worlds. But the spice, all I can remember is the spice and solving the mystery, the way they had to solve it, just working together. They had no choice but to work together on this, and how it goes down when they find the saboteur of the wedding. And like, yes, it just had everything. And her style of writing, I just can't criticize it. I love the characters, I love the aunties, I love the text messages throughout the books, both books, right? I just can't find something at fault for some reason in this book. And I just, this is like the first time with Dating Dr. Dill and this that I'm reading a book by Nisha Sharma, and I am just swept away. I love the world building, I love the character growth, I love the dynamics of family, the friendship, everything in this book. So do check out this as well. The last book I read in September is Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim. Guys, this book was just released in August as well, and I couldn't wait to read this. So this is like a prequel to the Six Crimson Cranes duology by Elizabeth Lim as well, which follows the stepmother of uh, what's her name? Whoever, the main character in Six Crimson Cranes. So this is also one of the prominent characters, the stepmother. Uh, Her Radiance is what her name is, and Shannari is her actual name. The story of what made her who she was, the villain, the character in Six Crimson Cranes, where she ends up not being the villain. So the entire story of two sisters, Vana and Shannari, how one sister had to fall for the other sister to rise, the tragedy that she had to go through, the curses she had to bear, and her story, guys, like if y'all read Six Crimson Cranes, y'all be finding her as a villain, but at the end you will understand what she did, but still why she was who she was, why she did that to protect that princess, like all those just gets justified, validified in this. And like you come across various characters you meet in the Six Crimson Cranes duology or the Dragons Promise second book as well in this, and then everything just adds up. Like this was needed. Like for me, getting to know Shannari's story, just I'm just speechless. I love this. I devoured it in a day that I couldn't get enough of it. The loss, the pain she had to bear of losing her sister in the way she lost it, and then to bear her sister's face for the rest of her life was a curse again. So all her life she has been cursed. She talks to serpents, so you get this all Slytherin kind of vibes. But this is such a beautiful story. I love the Six Crimson Cranes duology. So when I knew there was a spin-off coming for Shannari's story, I had to read it. And now that I read it, I am so filled with warmth to this character, to all the characters in this world. And like Elizabeth Lim's writing just grabs you. You are just immersed in this world, in the characters. The world building is absolutely amazing. The flow of events are just so good. Like so good is an understatement, or like an under, like it's just underrated to say good. Like I am lost for words thinking of her radiant curse. I just loved her fearlessness. She was a badass heroine and she would do anything for her sister, and that bond between the sisters, as well as I felt the pain that she felt when her father tried to sacrifice her and thereby getting her cursed, and then he treated her as if she is a sickness, she's a virus that he can't get rid of, and like it's all his doing, but he ended up blaming her, saying she got herself cursed, which was just annoying. It was just anger that was boiling in me, that I felt through the character, the pain that she was feeling being rejected by her father, her stepmother, her mother passing away, and like, it was just a whirlwind of emotions and so much more. I absolutely love this. So if you still haven't read the Six Crimson Cranes duology, y'all have to read it, and y'all have to read this after. I would not recommend y'all reading this first, even though it's like a prequel, because you will actually love the characters if you read this after, in the order that it was published actually. And do check it out because it's amazing, and it's a YA fantasy. You just absolutely love it. From Six Crimson Cranes and the Dragon Promise, I love the Dragon Promise more than Six Crimson Cranes. Y'all can watch my review on those books in one of my monthly reviews. It's in the April monthly review where I read fantasy books at a stretch. So check out Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim. So those were the 6 books that I read in September, and guys, I really did read some books that I enjoyed, and I wished I read more, but I won't complain because I actually enjoyed the books I read, and these, for me, talking about these also brings me so much of joy, and I can't believe I waited so long to read these books because they were so good. Like, they are so down my alley that I enjoyed it so much. So I hope y'all liked my mini reviews on these 6 books as well, and my recommendations. Do add them to your TBRs and get reading them. Like, saying everyone has their opinion, like there are people who wouldn't like it, I guess, but I absolutely enjoyed it, so they are worth checking out. So do check them out. If you all liked my reviews, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, as well as share this with friends and family. Also, if you all want to see more of me, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, as well as click on that little bell icon so that you all get notified every time I post new videos. And with that, it's time to wrap up this video, and with the promises of more bookish fun next week and the weeks to come, here is me saying bye from Oh My Word, Melly.